Hey guys, what's up? This is Bharat Nagpal. You're watching iGyan. Today, OnePlus has launched and revealed their OnePlus TV. Now, these are two televisions that have been launched specifically for the India market. We've got the Pro variant. We're going to be checking it out. So let's quickly get started. Now, the televisions from OnePlus are available in two variants, namely the Q1 and the Q1 Pro. We've got the Pro variant, but these televisions have been leaked and rumored for quite a while, so it's finally good to see them in person. Now, the packaging is pretty simplistic, but it is quite difficult to set up this television, so bear with me. So in the main box of the TV, you will get a wall stand or a wall mounting adapter, which is included inside the box of the television. However, a floor stand or a table stand is not included in the box of the television, and it comes in a separate box. Now, when you buy this television, whether both of these will be included or only the wall mounting adapter will be included is presently unknown. Also inside the box, you get another box which does house the remote along with the cables, one of which is a splitter cable which allows you to attach your analog signals via the headphone jack. You also have the power cable inside the box along with a user manual. Now, to put the stand on the television, it's pretty simplistic, and the stand in itself is quite ingenious. This is a single rod that goes from the top of the television to the bottom of the television, so it holds the television in two places, and once you have everything secured in place, this is actually pretty robust. Also, it's a pretty ingenious design because you have this metal strip that is magnetically connected to this back bar that hides the screws that allow you to mount the stand onto the television. Once you've got the rod on the back of the TV, you can attach the bottom frame, and that basically completes the stand and allows you to stand this television up. So far so good. So on the back of the TV, you'll immediately notice that they've given this modern carbon fiber sort of look. Now, this is not real carbon fiber in no way. This is a carbon fiber look on the back, and it's basically plastic. In fact, the entire television looks like it uses a lot of plastic, which is not the first experience I would have liked from a OnePlus television. The stand and the back rod that holds the stand onto the TV is solid and made out of metal, but everything else more or less looks like plastic, feels like plastic. So if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it has to be a duck, right? Now, the difference between the Q1 television and the Q1 Pro television is more or less the soundbar. Now, this is a motorized soundbar. It comes from the back of the television and it rolls down when you turn the TV on. Now, this looks extremely graceful and is something that I would recommend that you pay the extra for. Of course, it'll give you added benefits of audio, but just the look of the TV with the soundbar rolling down is extremely futuristic and extremely modern, and I definitely love that. Now, the price on the box is around 2 lakh rupees, and that's the sticker price. I wouldn't believe that price because the actual price will be listed in the description below. So if you guys want to know what the real price of the TV is, you can go to the description below. Now, OnePlus was very iffy about a lot of things that I had questions about, so we didn't get a lot of answers for things like response time, things like refresh rate, because they didn't want to talk about that. But we'll be doing our testing and we'll try and figure out whatever we can for this panel, and whatever we can get from the manufacturer will be good. We're also not sure of who is making the panel because OnePlus was like, lots of manufacturers are making the panel. So we're not sure if there is a particular manufacturer that makes the panel. So this is OnePlus attempting to be like Apple, not trying to disclose a lot of specifications, which makes sense, but for a market like India where there's a lot of competition already in the market, this may not make sense. The one thing that does stand out for this television is the front panel. Now, this is a QLED panel. Both televisions, the non-Pro and the Pro, are 4K QLED panels, and they are 55 inches diagonally. Another thing that was not very clear is the brightness of the television. I would say it's somewhere around the 500 to 600 nits. But it again wasn't really made clear to us, so we're not sure of what the exact specifications of the TV are. It does have Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos out of the box. Of course, if you're buying the soundbar version, you'll get 50 watts of additional audio that you will not get in the standard version. Of course, you have 8 speakers, 3 digital crossovers, 6-channel amplifier, and 2.1 audio within the soundbar. So for the Pro television, that's quite impressive. Now, these are Android televisions and they are certified, so you will get Netflix and Amazon Prime working with the television out of the box, which is fantastic. A lot of people would like that, especially considering the sticker price on the television being so high. You would expect at least Netflix and Amazon Prime to work. Of course, they work seamlessly while streaming HDR and 4K content, and we tested this out and it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, there are certain things that I'm not very sure about. First of all, there is a user interface apart from the standard Android user interface. It's called the OnePlus Dock, and it kind of reminds me of what we see on Xiaomi's MIUI on the TV. So it's almost identical to that in terms of the layout, in terms of how the apps are there, in terms of the featured files on the top. So not very new and not very different from what we've seen from other manufacturers. Of course, Xiaomi being a direct competitor as far as the origins of the television, it seems like this is something that should have been different, should have been unique, but it's not there. The remote is also very identical to what we've seen from Apple. So it looks like an Apple remote. It also behaves like an Apple remote. It doesn't have the trackpad. In fact, it has the older version looks and feel. So you do have a D-pad, and the center button of the D-pad is really difficult to hit. So if you're not looking at the remote, you might end up hitting the top button or the bottom button, depending on how you're navigating. Or if you're trying to go up, you might end up hitting the center button because there's no height difference in the buttons. So the center button ideally should have been a little lower or a little suppressed, but in this case they're all flush, so it's kind of difficult and it'll take a little bit of getting used to. The remote has direct access to the OnePlus Dock as well as the Android TV menu, and you can also jump to Amazon Prime directly from the remote. Of course, OnePlus also talked about adding Netflix onto the remote, so in a future version of the television, Netflix button will be added to the remote. So if you want a Netflix button on your remote, you might want to hold out till a newer remote releases, because this television will not get the Netflix remote immediately. For I/O, there are quite a lot of options on the back. There is a headphone jack along with an optical in. You also have an Ethernet in. You have 4 HDMI ports, 2 USB ports, and a RF signal in. To connect to the television, you can also use OnePlus's Connect app, which allows you to do a lot of things directly from your smartphone. So you'll not only be able to cast whatever you're watching on your phone onto the screen of the television if you have a Android device that does have this app, but you will also be able to control the television without needing to use the remote. You get a trackpad, you get some apps in there, some featured content that you can directly play from this app, and the app will be updated in the future to add more features to the app that will be supported on the television. Now, the soundbar looks really cool from the front as well as from the back. You can see it has this matte finish mesh fabric. Kind of reminds me of smart speakers. And once it rolls down, you can see it's very smooth, rolls down. There is a nice light bar in the front. You see the light bar in the soundbar and the soundbar rolling down. It looks absolutely fantastic and looks pretty good. The screen on the television is also pretty good. It has excellent viewing angles and a good amount of dynamic range. You also have really good color reproduction and HDR capabilities. This is one of the better screens that I've seen as far as televisions are concerned, along with the fact that there is the ability to have motion smoothing as well as noise reduction on this. And the TV does a pretty good job of reducing motion blur as well as reducing the noise in your file. You can of course go disable these things from the settings panel, but even by leaving them on, you'll see that you get a pretty good reduction in terms of noise and motion blur, which could be really good for watching some content which may be jittery. This smoothens it out quite a lot and makes it look good. Of course, if you're watching a movie, you can disable the reduction of motion blur, which will allow you to get a better overall experience. For a first attempt for the TV, it is pretty good. It looks impressive and it sounds impressive with the soundbar model, which is the Pro model. But there are certain things that I've come to expect from OnePlus that I don't find with this TV. First of all, the initial setup process wasn't that great, and the user interface leaves a lot to be desired from. The sound quality and the picture quality is top notch. Of course, there's the QLED panel. I would have really liked for OnePlus to give some more information, since this is a panel specific product and we don't really have a lot of information on the panel. A good thing is that the remote does take a USB-C cable to charge it up, so it is a rechargeable remote, as well as the fact that I found a service port, which is also a USB-C port on the top of the television that hides under a small push-in cover. So that is the OnePlus TV, which is the Q1 Pro. If you guys are interested in us reviewing this in depth, we're going to be pushing out a video later on. But that is the television. Let us know what your thoughts are. What do you think about this TV? Do you think this is going to do well in the Indian market? Prices and links to buying the television are in the description below. I would recommend that you should pick the soundbar model because it does give you that added clout for the motorized soundbar. Of course, extremely modern, and the additional sound is a considerable amount of difference. And in 90% of the cases, anyone who's serious about watching television on one of these modern TVs will end up buying a soundbar or some external speaker. So that is an additional cost. And if you can save that and get the soundbar version, which is the Pro model, it'll definitely help you out. That's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to smash the like button if you liked it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to watch more videos from iGyan. This has been Bharat Nagpal. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.